bunch of people in Austin have been doing these boot camps, and they're charging thousands and thousands of dollars to do them. ACC prides ourselves on doing things in a very affordable way, very low budget, highly affordable way. So we took this opportunity to kind of venture off and do something different, something that we haven't really done in CE before. Payush Mehta and Jonathan Liu are my two instructors for this new boot camp. And they're out-of-the-box thinkers, and they're doing something really awesome. We just started it in the summer, and it's going to go through February. But one of the unique aspects of it, as Marcella pointed out earlier, typically within CE, people can get on our website, find a class they like, and self-select, register, pay, show up kind of thing. Even though we do put a suggested prerequisite in most of our classes, it's not we don't check it. For the boot camp, we're doing something different. We have created a one-day software developer boot camp class. That's a prerequisite for the full-blown boot camp. And this is a kind of a screening mechanism to make sure people do have sufficient background to get into the full-blown boot camp, and also so that they are aware of what's going to be asked of them, because it is going to be more intense. They are going to be having to do homework. Yes, they probably are working full-time jobs, but they are going to have to be attending class 3 times a week, 10 hours a week, plus doing homework and assignments, real-life projects. And I'm not going to steal all the thunder of the great things going on here, because that's for the students to talk about. But Payush, do you want to introduce your students and some of the new out-of-the-box thinking we're doing on this?
Yes. One of the things that we realize is a lot of people come with some school experience but not real life experience. And we said something we're going to do here different is half the time in the boot camp we'll work on an industry project that we'll bring from the industry, work on it, deploy it to the cloud, and deliver it to the satisfaction of who our sponsors are. So at the end of this, we'll show you a video on a project that we haven't begun working on it yet. We're still in the early stages, but we'll show you that. But we'd like to hear from some of my colleagues in the boot camp. Liam, are you? There he is. He's going to tell you about this. One thing I wanted to mention about those one-day classes that we did, we went through about over 100 people over a period of 2.5 months. And what was so exhilarating about that is people came there who had never done any programming before and said, I'd like to find out what this is about. Why it was so rewarding to us is we did get some people who have never programmed before to come in and who are doing fabulously in this boot camp. So I'll let them speak what their message is. Back to them. Back to Liam.
Thanks for having us. My name is Liam Parent. Kind of like Payush was talking about, I really don't have any experience with coding or software development or anything like that. I came here fresh, learning things new. One of the things I've really enjoyed from this class is learning the process of learning. Going back to the drawing board, learning a new way of looking at things, really getting down to the nitty-gritty of this code and learning the step-by-step process. And I really feel like that's what's going to really help us learn throughout this entire process. The HTML, the JavaScript, the CSS, the Bootstrap, all the different types of languages. And really learning that way and learning that process, it's going to translate well into learning these newer languages that are coming out more and more every day. I read something about how, in a certain publication, about how will software and tech innovation be pushed to the next level. And with a class like this, you're developing the talent from the ground up and really, allowing them to learn and grow. And I really think that that's what's going to help, help us learn. Thank you.
Hi.
Is Emily?
I'm Emily. My favorite part about this boot camp is really the creative process associated with web development. What we do with projects ranging from HTML and CSS all the way to Bootstrap is really different. I haven't done anything like this before, but it's fun doing the process and thinking creatively where you go from CSS and HTML for a given project and then you transition to Bootstrap and you're like, wow, look at the difference of the process that I had. And HTML and CSS, Bootstrap have a lot in common, right? They have, you have to check for cross-browser compatibility, responsive design, all that good stuff, but it's a totally different process. And for Bootstrap, you take all of this code and you're like, all right, how do I parse this down to the littlest that I actually need for my project? You're not trying to have all of that stuff in your code, right? To make it redundant. And once you do parse it, is that compatible with the stuff that you already have? So it's a lot of experimentation. It's a lot of iterative processes going back, and which can kind of get like, ugh, I've done this a million times. But the good thing about it is that you're learning something about yourself as you're developing the skill. And I think that's the most important thing about this boot camp is developing and honing your own creative process.
Whereas Emma is more concerned with career switching, I'm worried about career beginning. I'm just starting. I'm young. I don't have a lot of work experience, although I do have 6 months experience with the Java program taught by one of Marcella's teachers, and I feel confident I can work with what I have and what I'm learning in this boot camp and create a great career out of it.
I'm Willie Witten, and like Lewis said, I definitely think that the skills we're learning, the projects we're working on will help to find a job. But for me, I saw this boot camp as another step in my goal to solve problems through coding and programming. We get speakers to come in and tell us about their experiences. Mason Hale came in, and he shared with us his work experience as a programmer, but also some of the projects he worked on. One of the projects, he took it upon himself to develop a scheduling application for his daughter's swim team. A lot of the girls on the team were missing races, missing meets, and it was a problem. He took his knowledge to come up with his own fix, and now his own fix, Swimtopia, is used by hundreds of swim clubs. That, to me, gets me excited. I also took the 6-month Java Series course here at ACC with Lewis, and for my final project, I developed an application to analyze soccer games. I had taken a look around and I couldn't find anything that did what I wanted, so I developed it myself. Now with what I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn in this boot camp, I'm retreading what I did in that project. I'm using advanced HTML and CSS for the front end, JavaScript, Node.js in the server side to speed it up. And I'm taking what was something small and just an off-the-cuff idea, and I'm trying to make it really robust. So for me, all the things we're doing here, it's not just about the technologies and skills, but it's a process in being able to look at problems, come up with solutions, and put them out to the world. And I think that's really cool.
We're on a very short video about this project that we're going to do. We have our project teams here. I'll let them go first. So 3 projects, we're working in 3 teams. Who's first?
I'm Austin, and so we're going to present the projects that we're going to be working on in the class and as smaller teams within the class. The first project is a social network web application for aspiring web developers, and it's going to be used to enhance communication between the developers and their peers, their clients, their mentors. We're going to inspect how people use web interface versus mobile interface, and hopefully build an app that is fun and easy to use.
My name is Matthew. In addition to that first project with the social network, the second project is going to be selected by the students through a pitch competition, much like the pitches you see in Austin's tech startup culture. Those that wish to participate would pursue their own ideas through research, and the class would vote on them. And in this project, we would hope to learn how to put together a website, including UI and UX, building RESTful APIs, designing the data store for it, and testing our code and deploying it to the cloud.
Cool. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Thornton, and for our third project, we'll be building a mobile application that would be used by flight school students to monitor their progress toward getting FAA certified. We are building this for a company called Reckley, based out of Los Angeles. We'll be using Node.js and React Native. And this secure application will deliver a complete system that will include automated tests, deployment, and documentation. And now I guess we should have a short video to show you the scope of this project.
Since the dawn of time, we have envied birds their ability to fly. That dream was finally realized in the last century. For early pioneers, aviation was an opportunity available to all. Harriet Quimby became the first American woman to earn a pilot certificate in 1911. And just 10 years later, Bessie Coleman became the first African American to earn a certificate. Ask any 5-year-old and the dream is still alive. But according to the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, 80% of student pilots fail to earn their certificate. For them, the experience is confusing and lonely. My name is Anthony Daly, and I want to welcome new people to the aviation community and help them realize their dreams. We can bring clarity and community to the flight training experience. Recce is a mobile app to help students track their progress, bring clarity to their aviation goals, and reward accomplishments with other students.
Thank you very much. This is the end of the students. We're running really late, so let's do. Can we do a tour and then come back and close, and then maybe get your feedback? We have 3 tour guides. Curtis. I know Curtis is in the house. Where's Curtis? Okay, so, I just saw Curtis. Curtis. What do you think, Eric?
No, I think I want to just get up and mosey. Do we have anyone who can speak to it?
Can you do that? Can you do that too?
Would you like me to? Okay, I'd be happy to. Who all wants to join me?
Great.